Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the starting point, line by line. Okay? But first, I like to paint a picture, an analogy. Okay? How many of you guys ever took a road trip? Practically everyone in the room, right? Even today, right? We took a road trip. So one day, Ron and I, Hollywood, we were driving from Atlanta, Georgia to New York City. Last year, no, in 2016, we did what was called Entrepreneurs on Tour. We hit 5 cities in 10 days, just on the road, doing events, right? So as we're commuting, I'm super hungry. It's in the morning, and I keep seeing these Chick-fil-A billboards, left and right. I love Chick-fil-A too, like the spicy chicken biscuits. You can't get that on the regular though. You gotta request a spicy chicken fillet, the lunch sandwich for the breakfast. So I always request it, right? And on the side note, you always got a boss up on. And what I mean by this is something I want you to take home to. When you're reaching out to credit cards, you ask for credit line increases, keep in mind they're employees. So people who are employees, subconsciously they're subservient to people who exercise more dominance towards them, right? So if you have that knowledge, if you act like you're their boss or supervisor, they will increase your credit lines without doing a hard pull. But it's all how you present yourself. So I do the same thing at Chick-fil-A, because I'm like, for one, they're employees, for two, they're teenagers. I want to not boss up on a teenager just to make sure I get my point across, get my spicy chicken, and get my spicy chicken biscuit, right? So always think about that. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to train people. That's what I do. When I hire a real estate agent, just because they're an agent, it doesn't mean they're going to be as ambitious or professional as you, right? So I know that, so I have to train them without them noticing that I'm training them, okay? You really have to keep that you have to be cognizant of that. You're the entrepreneur, you call the shots. You're that synergistic glue that brings all the resources together. You make sure that every person in this chain is doing their part, right? And if anything goes wrong, it's always your fault. So keep that in mind. You bear a lot of responsibility as an entrepreneur, even when you take financial hits. If we took a hit financially with 100% finance, I had one vendor as a side note. He didn't fulfill a service. I took a hit of $40,000 because our clients didn't receive the service that they paid us for. So I wanted to give them a refund because our name is attached. Again, we provide our people, our clients, the tools they need to succeed financially, and our name is very important. A good name is more desirable than silver and gold. That's Proverbs 22:1. Right. So I took that $40,000 hit just to save the name of 100% finance. Okay. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. You always want to have reserves. That's a technical thing, but you always want to keep in mind that you carry the brunt of all the responsibility. But on a side note, you also get all the rewards as well. It's well worth it. So I'm just here to prepare you guys for that mindset. Okay? You're an entrepreneur. Okay? All right, so back to what I was saying. So we're driving down. I see Chick-fil-A, 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 Chick-fil-A. My mouth is salivating at this moment. And Ryan is driving Hollywood, a bearded guy. I said, yo, man, let's pull over and get some gas. He said, bro, get some gas? I mean, get some Chick-fil-A. Man, bro, we only burned up a quarter tank of gas. We're good. We only been on the road for like an hour. We drove like another 3 hours from a quarter tank. I'm like starving. Like, oh man, can we please? And he's like, all right, let's pull over and get some gas, fill up the tank, and fill up our stomachs. I get the Chick-fil-A. What's the point of that story? The point of the story is this: if you see an image repeatedly, consistently, it will grow an appetite or a desire, a hunger within you to take corresponding action towards obtaining it. That's why you see billboards. How many of you guys have been in New York City? Right? You've been in Times Square? What do you see?
Billboards.
Billboards, advertisements, everywhere, right? Super Bowl. You guys heard of Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Right. How much is the Super Bowl ad?
Too much.
Millions.
So why would they spend millions of dollars for a 30-second clip?
Because it's going to bring back billions.
Correct. Big corporations, big businesses, they understand the value of repeated images. Right? They brainwash you to the point you don't see it. So if they're always brainwashing you with their product and you take corresponding action towards obtaining it, why don't you do that to yourself? Like Rudy said earlier, if you work here, you'll hear me say a lot of stuff repeatedly because I'm brainwashed now. Real talk. I really do. Because I want them, but it's to their benefit. I want them to succeed. So one of the things I say is you always have to brainwash yourself for success. You have to see an image repeatedly, over and over and over, to the point it creates a desire within you so strong that it outweighs your fear. Most people are scared to get started. So that's why you have to brainwash yourself to the point the desire outweighs the fear. And then you will take corresponding action towards obtaining it. You'll pull over on the side of the road and find a reason to get it. It's just like a dog who's starving, he's hungry. He can smell food anywhere, in the oddest of places, but he will get his appetite satisfied. But if you're not hungry, you're not going to be ambitious. So likewise, if you're not starving, hungry, and have a burning desire, like I mentioned earlier, for success in real estate and being financially independent, then you're going to be complacent. Complacency is the enemy of success. If you're complacent, if you're tolerant of the 9 to 5, you will not be a full-time entrepreneur. It's impossible. You have to get to the point where you have a burning desire for this thing. Frustrated. You got to fuel. It's like the fuel for that car analogy, the road to financial freedom. It's that burning desire. That's the fuel you need to actually accomplish your goals. It's not just learning how to analyze a deal. Anybody can have that head knowledge, but how many people have knowledge, they went to college, but they're not actually doing the thing they want to do in their lives? Right? It's wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge. They say wisdom is power. No, but it's unapplied. Anything you learn, like what you learned today, I urge you all to implement it. Take action. All right, so let's take action now. The starting point. So again, from A to Z, right? When we started in Atlanta, we got to New York City. What's one of the first things we used to get there?
Car.
The car. And what do we use for the directions?
You have to know where you're going.
You gotta know where you're going. So in the old school GPSs, you guys know the big navigational things? Right? You have to enter what in first? You have to enter
Your destination.
Your destination and your starting point. But nowadays, they pick up your starting point, right? But back in the days, you had to actually type it in.
You had to feed it in.
Feed it, right? And they'll give you multiple routes. So if I was coming from like Marietta, I might have a different route from you. Where you from, Sean? Where you live out in Atlanta?
Boston.
Okay. So it would be a different route, correct? But we'll both end up in New York City.
Right.
So likewise, you might have, let's say bad credit, for example. You might have great credit. You might have a lot of money. You might have some money. You might have partners. You might have just a ton of experience. We all have different starting points. But we all will get to that destination called financial freedom together. All right, so you guys with it?
Yeah.
All right, you guys with it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's do a starting point. So now we want to talk about the debt to income ratio. What is the debt to income ratio? It's, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I thought you were asking.
No, okay.
Your income minus your expenses.
Close. Debt to income is actually a ratio. I'm going to write this down. Debt to income ratio. This is important for mortgages. This is what mortgage brokers look for. And I'm a licensed mortgage broker, by the way. I just don't practice it. I did it so I know what underwriters look for when underwriting my mortgages, so I can always get my properties approved, so I can close on them. And that's what you guys should do as well. Have some type of license in the industry, whether it's an agent, so you can get access to MLS, or being a licensed broker, just so you know their underwriting. It's important to know how the other party thinks, right?
The rules of the game.
The rules of the game. That's why I said that Chick-fil-A analogy. If I know this is a teenager who's an employee, I know how this kid thinks. So I'm gonna take advantage of that. Likewise, I know how. That's what you gotta understand, the mindset of the other party. So the debt to income ratio is your income. Let me see, monthly income over your monthly debt. So for example, if you have debt payments of $600 a month, let's say it's for your mortgage, car note, all this other stuff, over your monthly income, you make $1,000 per month. Your debt to income ratio in that scenario is 600 over 1,000, which is 60%. Okay? Do you guys know your debt to income ratio? Okay? So what I want you to do is, if you know it, write it down. And if not, just put a question mark so we can get to that later. Okay? But it's important to know your numbers. That's what's called know thy numbers.